Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. It's a little after 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started with the regular scheduled board meeting. Tonight, I've asked our County Administrator, Mr. Harris, to open us with the invocation and the pledge.
Bow your heads, please. Father, we praise you and we thank you that you love us and care for us and watch over us and make every provision for us. Father, we thank you that in this time of the year that we can celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. We ask you this evening to guide and direct us in this meeting as we tend to the business of this community, and we ask you to give us wisdom and guidance. We ask you to just touch those with grace and mercy that are suffering this evening, that are sick, that are suffering losses. Father, we just thank you that you will prevail upon these situations. Father, we're not familiar with all of them, but you are. We ask you to bless our first responders, watch over them, guide and direct them, give them safety. We praise you for this opportunity to come together and hold this meeting this evening. Praise you in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the December 4th regular scheduled board meeting and the December 12th Economic Development Director interviews. Have any changes, corrections, or additions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner Fleming. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moving on to the consent agenda. I'm going to have to pull item 13. We will hear that at a different board meeting. We're going to pull items 17 and 18 for discussion. Any other items wishing to be pulled? Do I have a motion to approve 2 through 12, 14 through 16?
Make a motion.
Is that Mr. Hale? Got a motion to approve by Commissioner Hale. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fleming. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
That'd been Commissioner Richardson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Richardson.
That second was Commissioner Richardson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, moving to item 17. I pulled this after speaking with the attorney, and I'll let him explain to you why.
Well, technically, to make this selection, when you go to do something, the ratification, can't appear on the consent agenda. So we're asking then, on the regular agenda then, as the first item to ratify the selection of the economic director candidate. It moved earlier after the meeting last week, after the bid tabulation, and we're trying to get things on board as quickly as we could. So when we looked at the bid tabulation, Mr. Norris came out as the first candidate. What we've initiated then was to start negotiating with Mr. Norris to try to get a contract for that. So first thing we'd like to do is have the board ratify the selection of Mr. Norris as the number one candidate and allow the county administrator and county attorney to enter negotiations with Mr. Norris on the unemployment contract. Ratification means we've already started doing it, and so now you're going to go back and ratify the actions that we've already started doing.
There was a consensus in the meeting, but the board couldn't take official
You
action.
couldn't take it, remember, we talked about it, you couldn't take and make a vote, so.
So you're
But
actually
you could have
ratifying the
consent.
direction that you gave us at the time.
Yeah. All right. Any questions? Do I have a motion to ratify the selection of the economic director?
Motion to ratify.
A motion ratified by Commissioner Fleming. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Richardson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Okay, as for item number 18, again, at the same meeting, you gave us direction to go ahead and start negotiations with them, and this is what we ended up doing. Did everybody get a copy of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, with a copy of the agreement, it basically is the same terms that we have utilized with the previous economic director, both in the initial contract and then with the renewal. The main term that I guess really comes into play is, one, how much you're going to pay him. Number two, how long the contract will be, and then three, when do you want him to begin? Negotiation with Mr. Norris, we've come to the term of being $85,000 as the employment figure annually, and of course, with that, as a county employee, he would have all the other fringe benefits that are allowed under the personnel regulations as for any other county employee. The second thing we looked at was the term. We finalized on a term of 5 years, and then when do we begin? Well, we've been trying to get him on board, and he's even been on board with us almost 90 days now, as helping the county out on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce. So we went right to January 2nd to begin the contract term. The only thing really different in the contract from the previous director are those three terms, and then I added a provision in there that where it says that one of his duties would be to do what y'all tell him to do. I specifically added in there that he would be the liaison for the TDC. Because until we have a full-time TDC director. So that's really the only thing that's different. But, so that's the entire content of the contract for your review and consideration.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I could just make a brief comment. In the meeting, for those that are curious about the chamber now, we did discuss the idea of the Economic Development Director continuing to serve on an as-needed basis for, I think, approximately 60 days or until they can find another person to fill the position at the chamber. We don't have an agreement yet with the chamber. I anticipate that is something that we would put together with them and then bring back as a separate item for board consideration at a later date.
Any questions or discussion?
I have a question. I don't know exactly how to word it, but I'll try.
Go
It has
ahead.
to do with the TDC. Will the TDC still function as it did with Dr. Jackson as underneath the Economic Development Office?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so who will manage, do we have to come back at a later date to actually have, because at this term liaison does not sound like a director
Well,
or what?
it doesn't say that he's a TDC director in the economic development part. That's just under the TDC part. So you have to do that later. But as part of his contract for the DED part, he needs to just make that mention in there. That's
Okay,
all.
that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. With the previous one, we already had a contract in place
Yes.
once we put the TDC under economic development. Anything else? Mr. Hancock?
Bo Hancock, excuse me, Bo Hancock, 6135 Wiggins Road. I don't have nothing against Jimmy. I'm just taking this opportunity to gripe about something else that was kind of related to it. The contract wasn't finalized until today. I understand that. There is no backup. I mean, at all furnished in the documents. Now, I understand why this one wasn't. And like I say, I'm going to take the opportunity to tell you that there's a lot of things that y'all are considering that y'all may have documentation for that the public knows nothing about. And we show up at a meeting, or how many people that's here that don't work for the county? 3, plus my wife and myself. I don't think it's too hard to make extra copies. If stuff is done late, to bring extra copies. So when if something is passed out, y'all are discussing it, we can at least follow along. When you have presentations by DOT or others, and then they pass out stuff to y'all, we're sitting out here, and we have no idea what they're talking about in many cases. And I, for one, I don't get paid to come and listen to y'all. I come because I am interested in what y'all are doing with our tax dollars. And I think every effort should be made to put sufficient backup information. Treat the public as though they're the employer. Oh, by the way, we are. At least put something in there. Let us know what's going on. And it might head off some of these weird rants that go on in the paper. People that don't know. But if it's out there, they have the opportunity to find out what's going on. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Did he go online? Anything else from anyone? Do we have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve, execute the contract.
I had 2 of you. Can I just use one as a second, Mr. Fleming? I got a motion to approve by Commissioner Stapleton, second by Commissioner Fleming. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, moving on to item 19, time specific, it's 6:05 PM or soon thereafter, as soon as the matter can be heard. Insurance refund from Florida League of Cities for 1718, Mr. Harburn, with BW and Helvenston Stone Insurance.
Chairman, fellow commissioners, thank you again for having me. Before I bring the good news, I want to first take this opportunity to congratulate Clyde Fleming on his reelection. It is certainly warranted because we know he's done a great job, just like the rest of you.
Thank you.
I also want you to know to congratulate our new commissioner, Lynn Stapleton. I know that Lynn will also do an excellent job, and I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate Commissioner Fleming and Commissioner Stapleton.
Thank you.
Again, tonight I bring you some great news from FMIT, the Florida League of Cities, about your commercial insurance renewals for property, general liability, automobile, inland marine, and workers' compensation of 10/1/18 to 10/1/19. As previously mentioned many times, fortunately for the county, you have heard this presentation before. But it bears repeating, particularly for the public, so that they will know the great job you as commissioners continue to do with your insurance program. Also, I think it is important for Commissioner Stapleton to know the history, details, and significance of this presentation. Gives you a little bit of insight about the League of Cities and your insurance program. In the last 10 years, for the policy periods of 10/106 to 10/116, I have brought you, the commissioners, Suwannee County, return premium checks totaling $592,283 for those 10 profitable years the League has had with the property exposures. The $592,283 represents a pro rata share of $74 million that the League has shared with its members, and it doesn't have to. Tonight I am here again to present you with a return premium check of $36,330 for the profitable year the league had with their property exposure for the 10-16-17 year. This is, again, your pro rata share of $4 million return premium in 2018 given back to its members by the League of Cities. As mentioned in the past, particularly for Commissioner Stapleton, the rest of them understand this return premium is a percentage based on two factors. Number one, for all of its members, it's calculated on each member's property premium for the 10-1-16-17 year. And two, it's given to all FMIT members that again renew their insurance coverage with the league the 10-1-18-19 policy year. Basically, what they're saying is, thank you very much for your loyalty. And we want to share these profits with the people that are loyal to us. I have mentioned to you in the past that the league is by far the largest writer of municipalities. They write over 600 municipalities in the state. As previously stated, FMIT, and this is important, FMIT is able to share their profits with their members because they're the only one that I am aware of that is a nonprofit trust versus a for-profit trust or an insurance company that has to answer to their stockholders. Being a nonprofit trust, they don't have to answer to them, and obviously stockholders would want those dividends given back to them. Yet they are still very financially strong, and I emphasize that. They're still, even though they've given $74 million back to their members, they're still financially strong with $202 million in surplus and $494 million in assets, even after distributing these return premiums. Also, their policies include the most comprehensive and, I emphasize, most competitive premiums for municipalities. Please understand, and I haven't mentioned this before, but please understand that these return premiums are a bonus to the members. The league is most competitive in their premiums for all municipalities without these unexpected return premiums. Again, these are the reasons they are the largest writer of municipalities in the state. That is also the reason I originally and continue to recommend them as your insurance carrier. I originally brought them to you because I saw that they were the best program. I actually represent another company that writes municipalities. To me, the league by far is the best. The league appreciates your business. I, as your agent, really appreciate your business tremendously. As a result, I take your insurance program very seriously and spend a tremendous amount of time servicing your account. As a person that has been in the insurance business for 44 years, I think your insurance program is one of the most important issues a municipality faces and needs to protect. The county has over $86 million in property and equipment and assets, 264 vehicles, and as Mr. Harris will certainly tell you, extensive liability exposures. One of the new ones we've talked about in the past is cyber liability, which is getting to be a big deal. Therefore, your insurance program demands constant attention. Now I work very extensively with Paula Pennington almost daily. Paula does a great job. She has been tremendous, and she has really, really taken on to the insurance aspect of knowledge, and it's really a pleasure to work with. It is also a pleasure to work with Mr. Harris, primarily, which I do, through Paula. It is obvious he does an excellent job for the county, as you do as commissioners, and I know you know that. Again, as your local agent, I want to thank you for your business, and I always have and always will work hard for the county to make sure that your best interest regarding insurance is served. Thank you again for having me.
Thanks, sir.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
before Mr. Harvard sit down,
Yes, sir.
I would thank you for your congratulations, and congratulating me back. And I also want to thank you for a job well done for what you do. Last year I didn't get the opportunity. I had the opportunity to say it, but I didn't say anything. But thank you for all that you do for this county. Because without you, it wouldn't be possible that we're where we're at.
Well, I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I really do. I take it seriously, and I really appreciate your support. It's very important to me. The county's insurance program is very important, as everybody knows, and this litigious environment in which we live, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
As well as protecting all those assets that y'all have. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So let me give Chairman a check. There's a check, sir. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good holiday.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mr. Chairman, I just want to add to that. Mr. Harvey did help me answer some questions this week. We had a little mishap between Paula, Randy, and him, and myself. It got handled very quickly. So they do a great job.
They do.
Thank you.
We thank you.
I had him tonight and things taken care of. They got in touch with him immediately and noted today that taken care of. Anytime you have anything like that, don't hesitate to call me.
Thanks, sir.
Before you leave,
Yes, sir.
could you explain this thing, try to figure out how to get it to stay open? We've been, I mean, it's, just
take it back.
get it. You can get it to me later.
Yeah, just take it back. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, it didn't work? We'll get you another one.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, I think I figured it out now. Thanks.
All right, we're moving on to item 20, staff reports. Catherine Allen.
That's your best.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners, and welcome aboard. I'm glad to see you there, and congratulations. I just want to give you some highlights. You guys have some really fabulous staff out there, and one of the things was we have a holiday bake-off with our youth, and we partnered this year with the Filling Fork down in Brantford to do some classes beforehand, and that was very successful for both the 4-H kids as well as down there in the community. We had 111 entries from 62 youth, and want to give a shout out to the people in the community. You know, they're always fabulous when we ask them to come and help. Commissioner Stapleton, thank you. But people are so gracious with their time and helping and generous, and it helps the kids in terms of learning for those kinds of things. Also, we're ramping up for our competitive events in the spring with county events and Tropicana, which is a public speaking contest. And so we're looking for judges there. So if anyone from the community is interested in donating some time or from the board, we would happily, if you just let us know, Derby's looking for folks in the extension office. I also wanted to let you know that one of this is kind of a double-edged sword. We're losing someone, but they're staying within the system. So Dee Broughton, who was our ag agent, she was our commercial crops agent. She applied for the regional specialized position that Patrick Troy vacated and got that position. So she'll be starting at the end of this week. So she's still around. You know, she has a little bigger distance or range that she's working with. I did leave a copy of the position description as well as out front, so if anybody knows of somebody that you think might be good for that, we're looking for excellent team members. And this is a commercial crops position. It is open until January 3rd, and it'll be posted on HR Jobs at UF, so just or UF Jobs at HF, at UF. Blah, blah, blah. Also, I wanted to let you know that the Research Center is doing a fundraiser in the community for a pavilion. So I wanted to kind of give you a heads up about this. Currently, they use a pole barn that they park equipment under, and so anytime we have events out there, they have to move all the equipment back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So they're looking for something that they can have people underneath and then have the equipment still be protected. So Ernie Sellers is helping with this endeavor. I do know that he has approached the Development Authority, and I believe Commissioner Hales, you're familiar with that. But I did want to keep you in the loop, so in case you heard something about that, you knew what was going on. Also, we have a really remarkable program assistant for the Family Nutrition Program. That's what SNAP Ed is called here in Florida. So SNAP, as you know, used to be called food stamps, but the SNAP Ed part is helping to teach people how to maximize their money so that they can stretch it as far as they can go, but also when they purchase food, that it's something that's good for them so that it's healthy, it's not other stuff that they're purchasing. Bonnie Box is our program assistant that works here, and she works at the elementary school and has been very successful. I've talked before about the school garden that helps the kids when they are participating in planting and harvesting and sometimes even helping to cut things up. They're more likely to try vegetables if they haven't tried them before, and they're more likely to eat them. And parents come up and say, how did you do that? How did you get them to ask for these things? So we really have to give a lot of credit to the principal there. Amy Bogus has provided a lot of support for us to be able to do those programs in the school because she reaches those kids every month. All of the kids in that elementary school go to a nutrition program every month, and that's information that they wouldn't get in other ways. The grant through SNAP Ed has changed its focus, so it's not just with kids. They really want to focus on the people who are purchasing the food. And so instead of just dropping the kids, Bonnie did add ARC and the senior centers and some other, she's doing things at the library and Save a Lot to reach adult audiences. And one of the things that is pretty amazing when you look at that report, and I did leave some out front for anyone that's interested, is looking at those duplicated and unduplicated numbers. So as we look at the unduplicated, this is where you had an individual that attended a class at some point, but those duplicated numbers, they have, in some cases, reached over or attended over 10 classes. So this is a long series of classes that they've attended. So it's pretty impressive in terms of what we're seeing. There's also a change in terms of looking at how we can create an environment that helps people to choose healthy habits. And they call them policy systems and environmental changes. And so she's been working with schools, and you'll see, I think it's on the last page, where she's been working with school lunchrooms. So can we put the milk in the front so that it's easier access and it's the first thing that kids see? Just the way that we arrange lunchrooms, for example, can help kids make healthier choices. So she really makes a difference. I also wanted to give you some exciting news for us. We had a 4-H, she was a 4-H mom and leader in Suwannee County, and she's applied for the 4-H FCS position in Hamilton County. So Beth Kerr, if any of you know her, she will be starting and doing programs in our sister county north of us. We have some cool season forage workshops and pond management workshops coming up. So if you know of anybody who's interested or you'd like more information, if you'd contact our office. We had a very successful equine workshop this past Saturday out in behind the extension office in the rodeo arena. And it was interesting because a lot of the folks that came had recently rescued horses. And this was a hands-on workshop where they got to, mess with the horses and do all different kinds of things. And so very helpful in terms of making sure that people understand processes. Kim Griffin, our Family and Consumer Sciences agent, she's a registered dietitian, if you remember, and she's getting ready to start take charge of your diabetes in the spring. So in the past, our former agent who retired, she had very successful classes with diabetes programming, and so Kim is going to be starting that up. That is an 11-week course, so it's pretty intensive, but if you look at us, we're a medically underserved community, so, where other communities have hundreds or thousands of doctors per every, for every person, we don't have very many. So this is a good way to get research-based information to help people manage their diabetes. We're also recruiting for the Faithful Families, the third cohort of that grant program for the fall. So if you know of a faith community that might be interested in that, that is really to help support those healthy habits. We also have those library programs going on all the time at Dowling Park and Branford and Live Oak. So those are things like propagation and gardening tips. The seed libraries are always going on. We are going to be having an Arbor Day giveaway down in Branford on January 18th from 10 to 1. And if you're interested in things like pruning fruit trees, a mushroom workshop, growing blueberries or tomatoes, please let us know, because we have classes coming up, so we can sign you right up. Also, wanted to give my condolences to Commissioner Fleming. I heard that your sister passed away, and I just wanted to let you know I'm thinking of you and your family. Thank you. So if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Otherwise, thank you. Merry Christmas. Have a great one, and look forward to working with you all in the new year, where our team has got a lot planned. So if you ever want to stop by or need anything, please don't hesitate. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, moving on to general business. Item 21, discuss with possible board action approval of the final plat for Harley Estate subdivision. Ron Meeks, Planning and Zoning.
Mr. Chairman, board members, what you have is the final plat approval for Harley Estates subdivision. Subdivision is located in Section 17, Township 2 South, Range 14 East. It's at the intersection of County Road 136 and 89th Road. The total size of the subdivision is 20.11 acres in size, contains a total of 4 lots. The preliminary plat had came before this board a couple months ago, received preliminary plat approval, so we're just back before the board for the final plat approval. The plat has been reviewed for compliance of Chapter 177 Florida statutes and found to be in compliance. So at this time, we would just ask your approval for the final plat, if you don't have any other questions.
Any questions to anyone? Anything, Mr. Attorney?
Chairman, I move approval.
Do it.
Ask the public on this one.
Any comments from the public? So make your way to the podium, name and address for the record.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jared Fields. My address is 11141 168th Street, McAlpin, Florida, 32062. I come here today because,
Excuse me, Mr. Fields,
yes,
I hate to interrupt you, but that particular request for public comment was anything to do with the plat that was at issue at the time? Do you have an issue with the plat for Harley Estates at this time?
no, sir.
Okay,
I
well,
was
we're gonna
thinking-
have regular public comment in just a few minutes, okay? We'll call you right back up.
It's not your fault. It was
It's
a little
not-
unclear.
It wasn't real clear there,
Little
okay?
confusing.
Thank you.
Right.
But now we know where you live.
Okay.
All right, anyone wishing to speak about the subdivision? Hearing none. Anything from the board discussion? A motion to approve the final plat.
Motion approved.
Second.
Got a motion to approve by Commissioner Fleming, second by Commissioner Richardson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Moving on to item 22, discuss possible board action, any issues associated with the water or wastewater plant at I-75 or 136. You have anything, Ms. Harris?
Just going to give you a brief update. We went out there and started drilling a test well, and there wasn't rock where we needed there to be rock. So we're going to relocate and start over again. I'll be bringing you a change order because we're going to need to go ahead and hire someone to go use some equipment to do a survey to see if we can find a more dense area so we can hit rock with the next test well. So I'll be bringing that back to you, but that's where we are right now. County Attorney and I are still working on the easements that we need, and we'll continue to proceed with the test well, and we will find water. In fact, right now, we should be finding water pretty easy.
Yeah.
All of the reports indicate that the aquifer is full. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Did you have any additional agenda items? I didn't see any. No.
I don't believe we had any. We were trying to make it easy for you tonight.
All right. At this time, we will open the floor up to public comments and concerns. Anyone wishing to make a comment or questions to the board as you make your way to the podium at this time.
Again, I'm Jared Fields. My address, 11141 168th Street, McAlpin. I'm here today to talk about my road. This is a petition as well as a request for the construction of a chip seal road on 168th Street, McAlpin, Florida. The western limit being 125th Road and the eastern limit being 99th Lane. 168th Street connects 2 chicken house farms, 2 cow pastures, a hay farm, a tree farm, and a row crop land for watermelons, vegetables, and peanuts. Trucks are used to transport this produce. These activities add to the daily usage of 168th Street, making it necessary for the need of a stronger and more reliable road system. I would like to also reserve the right to petition at a later date for the expansion of this project to include the resurface of 99th Lane up to US Highway 129, and for the construction of a chip seal surface road on 125th Road and 172nd Street up to 129th Road. The reason for this petition is to remedy increasing problems as described. We have commercial trucks coming up and down the road, which is leading to road destruction, room for vehicles to meet and pass each other, going in opposite directions. We have flooding, washouts, potholes, a lot of dust, mud, and stormwater. I talked with Mr. Richardson yesterday about putting chip seal on 168th. I also reminded him that I talked with him last year about the same issue, which he said at the time that he would see about putting our road on the list, but he never did. Mr. Richardson then said he would get Mr. Randy Harris to ride out and look at the road. Well, we all look forward to seeing what the next step will be. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
I'd first like to acknowledge the board. Thank you so much for what you do for our county. My name is David Fields. My address is 11188 168th Street. My cousin so eloquently described all of the nomenclatures and the directions and whatnot. I just came back home to take care of my father, and he's passed on me in September. And so I'm moving back into his home. The only problem is I can't get the live oak after it rains. And kind of like what Jarrett was saying, you know, the roads are been that way since I was a little bitty boy. And I've spent 24 years in the military, 3 combat tours, and I come back and I'm still sliding in those ditches. What I would like for you guys to do is please consider. There's not nearly as many people live on that thoroughfare. Jerry Golf, to name a few. We all live up on 168th Street. It is a major thoroughfare. Entertainment for me now is looking out my front window and watching the mail lady try to get out of that ditch once she dropped my mail off. And so I would just like you guys to just consider it. If you could come out and take a look, you too will be tightening up your lugs after you leave out. So thank you so much for your time. God bless you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Good evening. My name is Christine West. I also live on 168th Street, 11187, 168th Street. I own 8 horses. I go up and down 168th Street with a horse trailer twice a day, maybe multiple times a day with my horse trailer. I go to multiple events with my horse trailer, and when it rains, trying to get up and down that road with a horse trailer, I went off that road multiple times with my horse trailer, going slow, and if I'm trying to pass somebody with my horse trailer and myself, it is very difficult. There's trees that are even on the side of the road or grass on the side of the road. If I'm trying to get over passing somebody, it is very difficult. I care for my horses very dearly. I care for the safety of myself and my animals. So it's very difficult. So I ask, even for the safety of myself and the passengers and other vehicles on that road, if y'all could, please look for the safety of us on that road. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. I'd talked to Chairman here several times about this, and he wanted me to bring it up on the meeting here about
Excuse me, sir.
Sam St. John, 14984 104th Street.
Thank you, sir.
Keep me straight there,
I would want to
Counselor.
get away with it.
But anyway, we want to bring up to you about the possibly sign a local state of emergency due to the river flooding. We've, the last couple of days, I've rode down to the river, and a couple of my guys rode down the river. Actually, we got pictures. If y'all want to see pictures, go into our website there, or our Facebook site, and you'll see, where the river's at, all starting from Suwannee Springs all the way down to the Santa Fe River, and looking at some of these weather predictions and so forth. They're all at the flood stage, and they're predicted to go past the flood stage around Saturday or Sunday. And then we're predicting to get some more rain on Thursday, about a 90 or 100% chance. Now, it's, anybody's guess about what it'll do. And then signing this a local state of emergency, I talked to Chairman, and necessarily don't have to sign it tonight. Maybe we can all just agree, if we want to do it, we can go ahead and agree to do it. And then we can sign it at a later date if y'all do agree to it. We don't have to do it tonight. We'll just do it later on once we see just what the river's going to do, or if we even need to do it. But I just wanted to bring it up to see what your thoughts were on it.
Well, I was hoping that we could approve it tonight, but I'm speaking with the attorney, we can't.
Okay.
So I was trying to save us from having to call a special call meeting Thursday or Friday, but looks like that's probably what we'll have to do. But either way, the board knows it's coming, so it'd probably be, Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, if we do it?
Yeah, I would say probably by Friday. Yeah, by Friday. We'll see what the rain does Thursday, and then, we'll have I get these emails, about every hour now. So we'll have a little more prediction about what happens probably after the rain. So maybe like Friday afternoon or something, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, we'll know a little more about it, we'll see what the rain does.
So we'll need at least 3 for a emergency call meeting. I know for sure Friday I'll be out of town, so I'll go ahead and let y'all know that.
I'll be available.
Okay. But I wish we could have done it tonight. I was hoping that, but
Okay.
it didn't work out.
All righty. Thank y'all.
All right, thanks, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak? Here, no, we'll close public comment and move on to administrator comments. You have anything for us, Ms. Harris?
I've got a long list, Mr. Chairman. But I'm going
It's
to
only
hold on to it until maybe sometime after the first of the year.
It works for me. We'll move on to board members' requests and comments. Mr. Richardson, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. Mr. Fields, I appreciate your your comments on that. I think that puts you in a better light for priority. And I did pass that on to Mr. Harris, even going to the extent of going past 125th over to cover all of the residents on that road, make sure we can cover as much as possible. So he is taking a look at that, and we'll get back with you guys on, I'll get back with you on priority, see where we land on it. I got some, I know we're working on this, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
as part of a larger, either regional or statewide group that Mr. Hale sits on, and that is the dumping of wastewater into the Withlacoochee rivers. And I hate to bring this back up again, but I'm getting calls from people now in Branford, part of our council, to look into see what we can do about maybe taking this issue to the next level. I don't know exactly what that level looks like, but obviously the state of Florida is not doing enough to stop it, and certainly Georgia is not, so.
If I can, Mr. Chair, I was going to speak to that, and I'll just go ahead and jump
Go
on.
ahead.
If it's okay. So I think most of you know there was a task force put together, the Middle and Lower Suwannee River and Withlacoochee River Task Force. We had our first meeting on the 13th. We have another one in January. The first meeting was just to get together and address those questions. Who do we contact? Who do we get involved? What do we do? And it's not just us, our county. Obviously, there's many counties, Alachua, Bradford, Madison. Everyone recognizes, it's an emergency and it needs to be dealt with now. So, yes, we've got another meeting put together, which we've invited DEP, FWC, the water analysis from University of Florida. I've invited him. Just a ton of people that we're getting involved in this because we think strength numbers is going to be the strength here. We're trying to get on the board's agenda and it's not Lowndes County. People get that confused. It's actually the city of Valdosta, which resides in Lowndes County. I think Lowndes County has reached out to us and said, hey, it's not us. But nevertheless, it's not going away, and it's not getting any better. And this board recognizes that, the task force board, along with our board. So I do want the public to know that we are exploring every avenue that we can and knocking on every door and making every phone call and sending every email, multiple emails from each of us on that board. And hopefully I will have more by the next meeting to share with you guys. If something comes up between now and then, I'll definitely, put it out to everyone so you can share it with your constituents. But just know we got a good group. I feel like they're very motivated, and we're going to get to the right people. We're going to get this taken care of. Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just one more thing, and that is to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and hope you have a pleasant and Happy New Year as well, and safe.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Fleming?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to say thank the Board of County Commissioners for all that you've done. Matter of fact, everybody in this room, for the cards, the flowers, the thoughts, the prayers, and the deepest sympathies. Thank you. All that meant a lot to my family. I think it was great support. Had the opportunity to get my hands on one of the flowers the board guy purchased. But I'm extremely proud, and I'm thankful, and I'm grateful. It don't move the pain, but it helped. It helped, for the thoughts and the prayers. And to name a few, the sheriff, thank you for your support. Jimmy, Mr. Norris, thank you. Commissioner Stapleton stood up and said a few words, had a few words. That was very appreciative of my family. And was asking questions, and the family was asking questions. I said, that's one of the commissioners. I said, it took great boldness for you to come and make that bold statement. But I thank you, and I'm in with this. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Hill?
Well, I kind of talked about that was something I wanted to bring up. I have some other numbers here I will share. Is that stuff that we can put on our website, Mr. Harris? Some of the meetings, upcoming meetings for that task force? Because I do want to get that out there, and I want to share it with the paper.
Yeah, we're
as well.
still very carefully Trying
working
to
on that?
handle what we put on that website.
Okay, all right.
The
I just
whole-
want the public to know, because
Yeah.
when we do go to Valdosta, I want to make sure that,
We'll see about getting
Yeah.
dates out on that.
the only other thing I have is we had the Christmas parade that was postponed, but it turned out to be a big time, bunch of fun. I could say something about Commissioner Stapleton, but I'm not. I just, I know the next time we ride a golf cart, I'll be driving. That's all I'll say. I'll be driving. So, yeah, so, but that's all I have. Merry Christmas to everyone, and condolences, Mr. Fleming. I know it's rough this time of year, but I do want to tell all the department heads, I appreciate you guys and what you guys do, and a lot of things get done because of that. So Merry Christmas to everybody.
Mr. Stapleton?
Yes, sir. First, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Hancock. I understand your concerns, and I got a great group around me as far as staff, and I think we can do something to kind of help those issues, and we'll be addressing that going forward. We're all here to learn and work together and move forward together, and if there's something we can do to make that better for anybody, that's what we're going to try to do. Commissioner Fleming, I'd like to say that we continue to think about you and your family. It's a tough position you're in, and the holidays are here with us, but we come together twice a month in public to address the county's business, but above that, we all talk and see each other so much that we're like family. And that's going to always be number one to me. Other than that, just county staff and all department heads, basically everybody in this room, you got a love for Suwannee County, and just because we don't all get along on everything that we talk about, we all want what's best. So I thank each of you for that. I look forward to this new year, and I want to welcome Mr. Norris on board. Get you some rest over the holidays, because we fix and put you to work. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thanks, sir. I too want, Mr. Norris, congratulations, welcome on board, and he is right, get you some rest, because come the second, we're gonna make you earn it. Mr. Fleming, our prayers still with you and your family through the holiday season.
Thank you.
Just our condolences. Other than that, I just wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a happy and safe New Year. Eat, drink, be merry, and get fat, and let's make a New Year's resolution to burn it off before next Christmas. But other than that, just need a motion to adjourn, fellas.
Adjourn.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye. Thank y'all.